Right, so I originally wanted to make a Starfield review, to get the game early, dump as many hours in it as I can, and make a well-structured worth a buy review, but you know, I don't think I will ever touch this phenomenal achievement again. Instead, I decided to give the Armored Core 6 review a go I originally wanted to leave on the back burner. This video is for those who love Dark Souls, Elden Ring, and other fromsoftware titles, but haven't heard of or played any Armored Core games, or even really cared about mechs in the first place. For people who are really confused. So for people like me and Matt pretty much. Hi Matt.
Hello there.
Without further ado, let's see if Armored Core 6 Fires a Rubicon is worth buying now. Shall we?
Target destroyed.
And before we start, if you like what I do and want to support me, give me a sub. It massively helps me by letting my videos be discovered by a broader audience. So yeah, if you're feeling supportive today, subscribe to my channel. Cheers! So, Armored Core 6 is an action game where you play as a mercenary and operate a giant mech called Armored Core, or AC. It's worth mentioning that it's been 10 years since the last Armored Core game, and despite From Software becoming a major pillar of the gaming industry, especially with the grand success of their previous title Elden Ring, Armored Core 6 is nothing like it. I think it's the most important thing to note here. If you are expecting Elden Ring type gameplay with open world and intricate quests, you won't find it here. And that's probably one of the main reasons you might not like the game. Armored Core 6 is a mission-based mech game where you earn credits to buy new parts for your mech, and that's it. As simple as that. And I don't mean it as a bad thing. Armored Core 6 is amazing. I'd like to start with talking a bit about the story because I feel like it really sets the tone. Like I said, you are a merc, you have a handler named Walter. The very first cutscene doesn't really give you much context. You just land on the planet Rubicon. To get yourself a mercenary license, you need to do missions there called sorties here. All the story is given to you through dialogue boxes with no character faces, and the whole thing can feel extremely disorienting at first, but I think it's by design and it just works. It is rather very effective, and without spoiling too much, I kind of found myself enjoying some of the characters.
I'll be here to support you, Raven.
There are no major twists in the story, don't expect that, but I think it just doesn't matter here. What really makes Armored Core 6 shine is its gameplay, because Armored Core 6 gameplay is fucking balls to the walls amazing.
We're under attack! The corporate merc! Intercept! Keep them off the supplies!
While doing various missions, you control a fully customizable mech. Yeah, the missions here are separate quests you can access from your garage. Like I said earlier, there's no open world, no hub area or something. Between missions you pretty much spend your time in the menus customizing your AC and such. Some sorties take a few minutes, some are much longer, in some missions you have allies, some you do solo, but that's pretty much the AC6 formula. You finish a mission, get paid, buy upgrades or new weapons for your AC, and go to the next mission. In addition to story missions, at some point in the game you unlock the arena, sort of like a one-on-one combat with other ACs. For every victory, you get OST chips. They let you customize a mech even further by upgrading certain aspects like ballistic damage, for example, or armor points, etc. At some point in the beginning, the game will start throwing a lot of new parts at you, so there's plenty of room to experiment with your build. You can attach a weapon to each of your arms, and the variety is really good. You have machine guns, shotguns, bazookas, grenade launchers, energy weapons, sniper rifles, swords, and the list goes on. Additional weapons like missile launchers can be mounted on your shoulders. But obviously customization doesn't end here. You can change pretty much everything else. Arms, legs, cores, heads. And it's not just fashion core too. Every piece has stats. You have to manage your weight to not get over encumbered, etc. So if you want a tanky but slow death machine, please, you are more than welcome. Or maybe you want a fast and flippy AC with 2 shotguns and reverse jointed legs that let you jump higher, go for it. It's not as in-depth as an Elden Ring, of course, where you can make an effective 2 shields build, but like I said, the game gives you plenty of room to experiment. On top of that, if you are feeling short on credits, you can always sell the stuff you bought and get like 100% of your money back. And of course, you can customize your AC visually and even apply some custom decals. Look, Earthworm Jim.
I'm a rocket man.
Let's talk about how the game feels to control. It's amazing, seriously. You start the game by simply walking around, but as soon as you're being taught how to use the boost, you're like never walking again, ever. There are 2 types of boosts. The regular one, the one that lets you gracefully slide like a majestic ice skater or a gazelle, and the assault boost that lets you dash in any direction and, for example, shorten the distance between yourself and the enemy. Combat is fluid and responsive. Targeting in Armored Core 6 is automatic, like you don't have to manually aim, which might sound like it will make the game easier, but no, the game is actually quite hard. There's also an option to hard lock on to an enemy, but it's a little bit finicky to my taste and takes some time to get used to. What's really cool is that the tutorial is really helpful in Armored Core 6. It teaches you the basics of movement and combat and unlocks new parts for you, so I strongly recommend checking it out as soon as you get the chance. So I already mentioned that Armored Core 6 is quite a challenging game. It really is. Like the first boss, for example, is quite hard and it took me a while to beat it, but I guess it's just a matter of habit. Well, you have repair kits, makes it a little bit easier. You start the game with 3 repair kits, and in some missions you can find supply stations to restore the charges, but most of the time, once you burn through your kits, you're on your own, soldier.
2 repair kits remaining.
Another thing that really helps is that you can swap out your build not just from the garage but also after a defeat. So if you are stuck with a certain boss, experimenting with your loadout is the key to success. Visually, the game looks stunning at times. I mean, just look at this.
See the contaminated city down there? That's where you're landing. Access the catapult.
This is almost like experiencing Majula for the first time. Art direction in Armored Core 6 is just unbelievably good to my taste. And the music too. From Software never really disappoint when it comes to music. It is maybe a bit quiet though, so if you are catching yourself not really hearing the music well, pump it up a bit. That's what I did at least. Armored Core 6 is a solid 20 to 25 hours experience, and I think it's a perfect length for a game of this caliber. It just doesn't outstay its welcome. You can also replay any sortie from the list to get some more credits and potentially get a higher score. When it comes to performance, it runs exceptionally well on my rig. The specs are in the description as always. I haven't experienced a single crash, no stuttering or lags, but I'm playing in 1080p, so I don't really know how well it performs on higher resolutions. Let us know in the comments if you know. And here are some minor complaints I have with the game. Now, I'm not sure if that's how it was in other AC games, but once you finish your goal, the game just fades to black. Sometimes in the middle of the combat too. I wish there was an option to, finish the fight and then extract manually. And another gripe, when fighting some bosses you are limited with not so invisible walls, which would have been fine if certain bosses were limited as well, like this very first tutorial boss. The only way to deal meaningful damage to it is to use melee, but it's really hard to use melee if said boss is out of the arena boundaries. I think Armored Core 6 is a fantastic game that is finished, very well optimized, and is just good fun. Like, going in not expecting another Souls game might help you have this fun. I'd say that Armored Core 6 is definitely worth its money and can be enjoyed for what it is. And what do you think? If you haven't subscribed yet, now's the great time to do so. You can also become a patron if you want to support me further. Thank you very much for watching, have a good one, see ya.